there's a trend on TikTok where girls will post a frame where they're like, I always wanted to marry a rich man.
Yeah.
And then the consecutive frames are them circumventing it. And it's like little video clips of their boyfriend like being nice, like laughing, bringing them a snack. And then it's like rich in love, in cuddles, in walks to the beach. Da, da, da. And I'm like, that's negging. That whole trend is like negging your man because he's not rich in money.
Yeah.
Like, you're literally saying like, haha, like I always thought I'd marry a rich man. And then you're like, yeah, he may not be rich, but he's rich in all these other ways. Isn't that negging?
He may not be rich, but he's rich in leaving empty Gatorade bottles all over the bedroom.
Rich in leaving empty Gatorade bottles.
He may not be rich in money, but it's okay. He's rich in explaining movies to me that I don't really care about. Hey, he's rich in showing me YouTube videos I don't want to watch that much.
Rich in YouTube waterboarding.
He's really rich in all of his wealth is in YouTube waterboarding right now. That's when he's got a lot of links on deck to show you.
Liquid per se, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Wouldn't you be pissed if I made a TikTok about you like that?
Yeah. Hey, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just making a TikTok. It's like, wait a minute. I'm not rich in money, but I'm rich in having skid marks in all my underwear.
Midnight Milkshake.
Welcome to the Midnight Milkshake podcast. I'm Dana.
And I'm Dana's fiance, Robert. And I'm straight, okay? I know you don't believe me, but I can't prove it every episode.
I believe him. Let's frick.
Cut the camera. There's also another TikTok trend where it's like girls are showing like their blow up. Girls are showing themselves blowing up government buildings. No, this is a TikTok trend where girls are showing the glow up of their boyfriends. Have you seen this trend?
No.
It's like, I think it's a Sabrina Carpenter audio, and it's like video footage of like their original boyfriend, and it's like the same guy. The original boyfriend is, just like a smiling normal guy, and it always cuts to like him now, and he's jacked as fuck.
Oh, it's like when did you get hot all of a sudden? Yeah.
I will say a lot of those, and again, a lot of these things, like they do get better haircuts, they get like better facial hair, maybe better hygiene, whatever.
Dress better.
But a lot of it is like they just get jacked as hell.
Yeah.
And it's funny to be like, I'm just imagining their girlfriend being like, hey, I'm trying to do a trend. Can you do a 6-month cycle of testosterone and HGH? Her perfectly good-looking boyfriend, who's like a perfectly nice guy, and
she's like, "You're gonna need to get shredded so I can hop on this trend."
Hey, can I put you on trend? Hey, I'm trying to get my TikTok engagement up. Can you do trend for 3 months?
Also, imagine if the gender roles were reversed on that trend.
What if a guy's
that would be literally crazy. Like he shows his like his girlfriend when he first met her, and she's like low key fat, and then she and
then now she's like skinny and tan with big fake boobs.
Yeah, with big fake boobs.
And all the comments are like, "Wow, she did get hotter. You really invested in her, King."
Yeah,
that'd be crazy.
That would be insane. Well, no one would like that.
Comments say this too, where it's like, he was hot before, but he's also hot now. That almost leads me to this. Like, man, if I change my whole aesthetic, I get a new wardrobe and I do 6 months of trend and like hit the gym and I meal prep, and then someone goes, "Oh yeah, you look kind of like, hey, I liked you before, I like you now." It's all the same to me.
Well, as we talked about, body neutrality actually shouldn't be real.
No.
You should care about your body. And like, if you think you're hotter now than you were, you should get mad when people are like, "I thought you were always hot."
Yeah.
Which I always think about with how I was obese in high school.
Wow. How long did it take for us to get to Dana being obese in high school?
But I was obese in high school, and my mom for the longest time was like, "What? No." And then finally I got her to admit that I was obese in high school. You know what? Sometimes we need you when you get hotter. I need you to admit that I wasn't as hot before, because otherwise it invalidates my progress.
Hey.
How dare you?
Hey.
Yeah.
You were obese in high school.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is that what you wanted?
I guess so.
I was, by the way, don't take that out of context. Take that out of context.
What context? You provided full context. You were obese. What? Me obese. When?
Who?
High school.
What? When?
There was
why?
full context.
Yeah.
Well, why? I was on some psychopharmaceutical medications I didn't need to be on. And there you have the full picture. Some might say I overshared.
Some might say far too vivid a picture.
Yeah, but really I just provided necessary context.
I like how in the first episode of Midnight Milkshake, we're kind of doing our bits about moving, a little bit of financial fun. And in this episode, you're like, I was in a mental hospital. I was obese in high school due to pharmaceutical malpractice.
Well, that actually brings me to a topic I had listed down. Which was, I thought, because this is like a new podcast.
Yeah.
I thought it might be fun to say like why we think we're funny. Like what has made you funny in your life? Like, why are you funny, Robert? Like, there's always a reason that people are funny. Yeah. Usually it's like, I was obese in high school. That's why.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm funny because I was shredded as hell in high school.
Right.
And I won it all. You actually don't have to choose. I won it all.
Okay.
I was shredded.
You were shredded
I was
in high
funny.
school. You was funny.
I read books.
But actually, You're probably funny because you're a middle child and no one looked at you unless you had something outrageous to say.
Yeah, now that you say it, I guess that is why I'm funny. You're right.
I just thought we could introduce ourselves.
They know. They've been watching. They know. They know all about you.
Gary V always says nobody knows who the fuck you are.
Gary V also says, quit your job and go to a garage sale at 4 a.m. Someone's like, hey, Gary, I'm 75 years old. I didn't save enough for retirement. You need to take your walker and you need to go around your fucking neighborhood. What I wouldn't give to be 75 years old right now. Garage sales. Have you seen those TikTok videos of that guy Caleb Hammer, where his whole thing is he brings people on who are struggling financially, and he goes like, "You're struggling financially."
Well, yeah, and then he tells them that everything that they spend money on is stupid.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I guess a lot of people need it. It does, I guess, put the fear of God, but I have no desire to go on that because I'm like, yeah, I know everything you're saying. I know.
Well, he would really cut into you for your ice cream spending.
He'd be like, you're spending
Yeah.
$30 on ice cream every week, and I'm like, yeah, I like to eat it. And he's like,
I do think specifically our indulgence in fast casual dining would really stress out a lot of finance experts.
but that's also the thing too. It's always a trade-off. It's like that's literally our one expense is fast
agree.
casual. We don't do anything else.
Also, here's my thing with both of us. I'm like, we don't eat that much food. Actually, we don't have that many meals.
Yeah,
we have like one meal a day, really,
and
then
we
have
drop
lots of
$30 at
snacks.
Chipotle.
Yeah, and again, people always talk about this. Yeah, if I didn't get my iced coffee out, I would simply be DEAD. My body would be cold if I didn't have a cold coffee that I purchased in my hand, because life wouldn't be worth living to me. So when you say, hey, you're never going to be able to buy a house if you get $7 coffee, I won't be here tomorrow if I don't have my $7 coffee.
Yeah.
How about that?
Well, it's like when people say like, hey, did you know there's actually more sugar in fruit than there is in soda? It's like, did you know that I'm going to go buy a schmun and schmilsh my schmelf?
Pew pew, bitch.
And pew pew.
Pew pew. You know, you gotta find joy where it is to be found.
I'm going to end my life on the Caleb Hammer Financial Podcast.
He's bringing a pew pew to Caleb Hammer.
He's going to be like, this is not how you're supposed to spend money. And I'm like, oh, you know what? You're right.
You're right.
Caleb Hammer's like, wait a minute, your last purchase was a gun and bullets? And I'm like, not bullets, just the one, buddy.
Yeah.
Is that good for SEO?
Probably not.
Okay, 1 second. Let me look at my phone as well, too.
Oh, yeah. What do you have?
Yeah, you've been rocking hard. Probably nothing about a mental hospital or being obese in high school. So sorry. You know what's one thing that I'm really glad we've left behind is like boomer prank culture. Like I feel like boomers, because they didn't have the internet or anything, they were always pranking. You'd always hear about like boomers like ding dong ditching or doing that crap where they would like drive and like hit mailboxes with a bat.
Well, they're also the generation that invented TPing.
Yeah.
TPing.
TPing.
Something that's hard to say in my voice. TPing.
Yeah. TPA.
Yeah.
That's also why.
TPA.
Well, that also leads into another thing. Where it's like all of the pranks also seem to be largely driven by like white men in the suburbs. And it's like, yeah, you could get away with anything.
Right.
They're like, why don't kids do that anymore? It's like they'd go to prison instantly. Only you guys could do this because there was no rules for you in the 50s.
Right. Like laws didn't exist for white men.
If I walked up
till recently.
Till really recently.
Do they even now?
Boomer prank culture was massive. I think also the problem is like because they didn't have like technology, they were relatively docile. Like there's only so much that like some individuals could do in the 50s. You know what I mean? It's like they had like 2 quarters in their pocket and a lot of free time. Whereas now it's like prank culture in the 2000s and 2010s was like, yeah, we're going to swat someone we don't like.
Right.
We're going to dox you. The stakes rose.
The scale has become so increased.
Yeah.
I mean, again, no one would think in the 50s, Mr. Beast videos would be incomprehensible to people.
Yeah.
It very much is like give a Victorian child a milkshake energy. And everything was so small potatoes. Also, it's like you only ever were really interacting with like your immediate neighborhood. The idea that you'd like be doing pranks in like kind of this global scale. I don't mean global, but you know. Like,
no, you're right. I do know what you mean. Because the problem with pranks then too is like, okay, a prank war in the 50s, the craziest it could get was like, hey, we're going to shoot firecrackers into your yard.
Right.
Whereas now it's like, yeah, I'm going to post your address on the dark web. You know what I mean? It's like everyone in like this new generation always has the capability to ruin anyone else's life at any moment. So no, I'm not going to ding dong ditch you.
Right. The internet has escalated pranks.
Yes. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as like any like chill
There's
prank.
no chill pranks. It's like
There's
I'm
none.
either ruining your life or I'm leaving you alone.
Yeah.
In high school one time, these kids that I was friends with, they sometimes would leave crabs on each other's windshields.
Like the sea creature?
Yeah, and it would smell really bad.
Yeah. Dude, I just saw a video of a kid who was swimming in Cancun and he felt something in his ear and it was literally a live crab crawled into his ear. It was a really, really tiny one. The video was just they pulled the little tiny crab out of his ear and then the caption was, "Don't worry, the crab is still alive and they returned it to the beach. It's home." And I'm kind of like, at that point, I kind of don't care if you kill the crab.
Right, it's just a crab.
It was in a child's ear. You can just kill the crab.
Watching this, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I take it back. And I hope that you can just remember me as I was before I said the thing about how it's just a crab and crabs' lives are unimportant. Actually, there was
I think keep talking to the crabs.
Okay, I do actually come from a town where there is a big prank culture, I will say. But my town is famously like a preservation town of like a 1950s American town.
Your hometown is very much like they're trying to evoke that kind of very Americana suburb vibe.
It literally gives like "Don't Worry, Darling."
Yeah.
It is like there's a bunch of mid-century modern homes that are historically protected. But in this town where I'm from, there is a really intense prank culture, specifically with the high schools.
Yeah.
Where like we would do egg wars. You'd go to the park and like you would egg each other and people would do crazy TPing. People would write crazy mean shit on your car if they didn't like you.
Yeah.
There was streaking. We were actually known for our streakers. So there was a whole week called Streak Week. At the end of every year, seniors would streak through campus. But streaking became so funny and popular to people that by the time I was in high school, Streak Week had become Streak Months. Like people were just like naked running around for like the last couple months of high school. And our vice principals would circle the campus on golf carts trying to catch the streakers, AKA wrangle naked teenagers and put them in the golf carts with towels. Did I explain that well? If this isn't making sense to you, you can Google like Palo Alto streakers. Did
But
that make
be
sense
real
to
careful
you?
with that Google search.
Yeah,
It can
careful.
go awry real quick.
But yeah, no, there was like crazy prank culture in my town.
That seems to go way beyond pranks. That seems to be there's some sort of mass psychosis. That seems to be there's some sort of like black mold growing in the foundation of every house in your hometown.
Again, if you are familiar with the town of Palo Alto or even other similar Bay Area towns, like I think you'll hear me when I say, yes, there is mass psychosis.
Yeah. Dude, at my high school, I guess there was the occasional TPing. I wasn't included. Maybe that's also why
I
I'm
think
like...
that's also it. We specifically are low-key outcasts of social communities.
So I wasn't included in this. So maybe there's still great pranking going on. I don't know. But there would occasionally be TPing, but then it always just like, I don't know. It didn't have the same zest because it's like someone's house would get TP'd and then just like them and their parents would have to sadly clean up the toilet paper. And I'm like, did you get them? Like, did you really get them at that point?
Yeah. Where's the joy?
Where's the joy?
Where's the laughter? Where's
the
fun?
little laugh?
Yeah. Where's the laugh? Where's the fun? I think about this a lot too. Oh, I was going to talk about this. As someone who used to smoke a lot of weed, obviously I'm in favor of the decriminalization of marijuana. Obviously, I don't think anyone should be in prison for weed. That being said, as weed has become so easy to get, like you can get it at your local corner store, I do think it has ultimately stifled fun culture and like it's stifled, teens and fun, lively debauchery. Like, where is the graffiti?
There's no more graffiti anymore.
I think you could draw a direct link between decline in graffiti and the availability of weed.
Well, here's what I'll say about other drugs or vices, alcohol included. It's like generally you do them and then you go do something.
They make you do more
They make
stuff.
you more social.
But like marijuana makes you do less. And I would also say like probably a decline in like garage bands, probably a decline in like punky teen hobbies. I'm like, I do think the fact that those punky teens can get weed so easily now has made it so they do less of those fun punk teen activities.
Yeah.
And that is why I'm like, I do think marijuana should not be a criminal offense by any means. But I also am like, should it be this easy to get? It seems like we're losing a lot of culture because of it.
Well, I think people, here's the thing. People who smoked weed really benefited from weed being illegal in this specific way. Again, not the criminalization aspect, but the fact like in order to get it, you had to get out of the house.
Yes.
You had to know
you had
somebody.
to try to get it.
There was a social element. There was a real effort that had to be taken. And now you basically just like walk into an Apple store. Okay, and here's what I'll say about weed, because I never smoke weed.
Well, because
not
it's
a cop.
actually illegal in Missouri.
Yeah. In Missouri, it's like you would
like
go
for
to
real
jail.
illegal.
Yeah. Anyway, so this is what I would always say about weed. Because when Dana smoked weed, sometimes she would forget her purse and I would have to go in and buy the weed for her. And I wish there was some, I wish I was like leaving something out or missing key conducts. No.
And again, I do think when you're like smoking so much weed that you're forgetting your person, therefore can't buy your own weed, maybe it's time to reassess.
It's time to reassess.
That being said, continue.
Anyway, I know that weed is legal. But does weed know that weed is legal? Because first off, in front of every dispensary, there's like an armed guard and like a bulletproof vest and like a handgun tucked into his jeans.
Well, there was one dispensary that we would go to where every other time we would go, the security guard had a black eye.
Yeah, and I'm like, hey, just to let you guys know, hey, I've been to other stores where they're selling legal stuff. They don't do that.
Like the grocery store Vons has no armed guard with a black eye.
And they'd be like, well, no, what if someone comes in to try to steal all the weed? I'm like, I don't know, man. I've been to Wells Fargo. They don't have this vibe
They don't have
going
the
on.
vibe.
Also, it's like, I'm not trying to be rude. I'm eyeballing it. Like, I don't think you're stopping anybody. I really don't.
Yeah.
But anyhow, it's like the vibe there immediately. I'm walking past an armed guard who I'm almost certain is not like some sort of accredited individual. And then like the waiting room always seems very thrown together. And by the way, every dispensary has its own weird waiting room rule. There's like someone behind bulletproof glass. And I'm like, I don't know. The vibe's weird. The vibe's illegal.
Yeah. The vibe is not like this
I've
is
always got to like show my ID, you know?
Yeah.
They're basically like frisking me and asking me if I'm a cop. And I'm like, in theory, it wouldn't matter if I was. This is supposed to be allowed.
Well, going into the weed store has the same vibe as leaving Walmart.
Yeah.
In that, like, you're getting your freaking rump patted.
Yeah, it's the same thing in that you're getting your rump
You're
squeezed.
getting your rump squeezed.
Get a little squish.
Yeah.
Okay, on principle now, when I leave Walmart, I do just like try my best to just walk right past the greeter.
No eye contact.
No eye contact. And my thing is like, look, if you think I'm stealing, call the police.
And we're all familiar with Walmart culture where you buy something at Walmart, it's a great deal. And you're like, why would I steal this? It's such a great deal. And then you immediately are confronted by someone being like, let me check your receipt.
Also at Walmart, I'll buy the good from Walmart. And then as I'm leaving, the person at the door or the Walmart employee at the door is like, okay, hey, where'd you get that? Where'd you get that? I'm like,
Walmart.
From you.
you.
Also, I'm like, hey, how about we just have a little bit of communication between the people at checkout and people at the door? How about just
That's
move
so
checkout
real.
closer to the door then? As you can see, we finally have our TV set up. It is on the floor. It's really elusive to me like how much I actually need TV. I've realized that I have yet to encounter a problem that can't be solved by watching the worst reality shows of all time.
Well, TV is extremely load bearing for us.
Yeah.
And I think it's because neither of us were allowed to watch TV when we were children.
So it's inherently an act of rebellion.
I remember when I went to the mental hospital, sorry to trauma dump, but we were instructed to make a list of like healthy coping mechanisms. And one of mine that was approved by my doctors was watching TV. And I brought it home to my mom and she nixed it. And my doctor said that I was allowed to watch TV and my mom still was like, no. And it's like, did you want me to KMS? Seems like it.
And you see,
yeah.
I just liked watching TV. It never got that serious. Although you did game it out.
No, it did. It got that serious for you because you were watching it in secret.
Well, I
and
watched TV in
scheming.
secret, but I just didn't have to go to like a mental hospital. I didn't
get
bring a
permission.
doctor's note. It never went that far.
There was like so much me having to get a doctor's note to get my mom to like treat me like a human vibes
Yeah.
in my house. Can anyone else attest to that?
Yo, anybody else go to the mental hospital and have a doctor tell their mom to let them watch the OC and their mom was still like, no?
So is that relatable to anyone? Hashtag
Sound
relatable.
off in the comments. I loved watching TV so much that we went on vacation and we stayed in like a hotel or a motel. That was the only time we got to watch TV. So whenever we went on vacation, I would fake sick so I could be left alone in the hotel room and just watch TV all day.
I literally would do that too. I did that sometimes when we were skiing. One time we were on a family vacation skiing and there was a Law and Order SVU marathon on USA. If you know, you know.
If you know about the channel USA, you know.
Yeah. But I did skip skiing to watch Law and Order SVU.
I remember on a trip to, what was it? It was like Arizona to visit my grandparents for Christmas. I literally faked sick throughout my Christmas vacation so I could stay home. By home, I mean I stayed in like, it was like a shitty motel.
Yeah.
And I watched, there was some reality competition show about like hot people learning to be cowboys. And I just watched it all day. It was
was
not
it
successful.
called?
It was on CMT. It wasn't even a good one.
Cowboy cuties.
I wish. But in my head, I'm like, wow, I really hacked this vacation. When in reality, I probably just missed out on like fantastic holiday memories.
But did you?
I feel good about it.
Yeah. Right now we're watching Very Cavallari, which is Kristen Cavallari's reality show from the late 20 teens that doesn't seem to have really taken off, but we are loving it.
But that's why I think we love it. It feels like we're in on a secret because no one else is fucking with Very Cavallari.
Well, and she is still married to her now ex-husband, Jay Cutler, who I didn't even know who he was, but apparently he's like more famous than Kristen Cavallari. Okay, blows my mind.
Well, it was crazy because literally, like, I grew up watching Jay Cutler play football. I played as Jay Cutler in Madden 08, and then I'm watching Very Cavallari, and who shows up but Jay Cutler?
And he is he's one of like the funniest reality TV character I've ever seen in my life, because I've never seen someone so indifferent about being on reality TV.
And but like there's so many people on reality TV who their thing is they act like they don't care. Like I would say like a Scott Disick. His thing is like he doesn't really care.
Yeah.
But Scott Disick, you can at the end of the day really wants to be on TV.
Yeah.
Jay Cutler genuinely doesn't care.
Yeah.
Well, as anyone who watched sports knows, Jay Cutler barely cared about playing quarterback in the NFL. He certainly doesn't care about Very Cavallari.
I mean, he's a nonchalant king.
It comes so full back around to like, it's awesome. It's so funny.
And again, they are divorced now, but Robert and I maintain that like they are the perfect couple. They are hilarious. Their on-screen chemistry is unrivaled.
I watch them and I think I get why they got divorced.
Yeah.
And also, man, I wish they didn't get divorced.
Work it out, you two.
Work it out.
Anyway, I'm sure you're both very busy.
It's also really funny because throughout Very Cavallari, and this is, by the way, a Very Cavallari rewatch podcast.
Yes.
I don't know if we sorry we sprung that on you.
Yeah.
She's stressing about the opening of her store, Uncommon James. And it is like all the drama centered around the store, Uncommon James. And it's so funny for the stakes to just be like pretty much like the most basic like jewelry home goods store. You can find 30 of these in every major metropolitan area.
Uncommon James is a overall common concept of store, yes. But okay, so there's one episode where she basically is talking about she's worried no one's going to come into the store. And Jay Cutler, her nonchalant husband, just goes, oh yeah, that's for sure going to happen. Yeah, for sure. There's gonna be days where no one comes. Like they're just like so.
And by the way, it's a thing where like if you read the script, you'd go, "This guy's an asshole." But when you watch it, you go, "This guy's an asshole."
This guy's an asshole.
And also, she's weirdly in on it.
Yeah,
it feels very. I mean, it's very charged.
Yeah, it's very charged.
I'm watching this and I'm like, man, I'm kind of shipping these two married parents of 3 children.
Yeah, they have good bands.
Yeah, that's our fall watch right now.
Yeah, so we're into Very Cavallari. The episode we're gonna watch after this, which I'm really excited for.
Is the season finale of season 1.
Don't
spoil season 2.
Don't spoil season 2 for us.
Literally nobody knows what show we're talking about.
But they are doing a Laguna Beach reunion on Roku. Very excited to see that.
Yeah. And then they're going to do a Hills reboot on Gooblop.
Oh my God, did you subscribe to Gooblop?
Every bit of TV news now is like, oh my God, they're rebooting All in the Family on Gloop Glorp.
On Gloop Glorp.
If you sign up for Schlimbloom, you get to watch I Love Lucy, the reboot with AI.
Schlimbloom is $14 a month, but if you download it and then you try to cancel it, then it's 40 cents a month.
Well, again, I watch the NFL. Yeah, I watch sports. Yeah, I'm straight.
Yeah, he's straight.
Yeah, I knew who Jay Cutler was before Very Cavallari. Although
that's the straightest.
I love him on the show. I like him much better on the show than I did as a quarterback for the Chicago Bears. Previously for the Denver Broncos. He also played at Vanderbilt. Me trying to prove I'm straight. I'm like, Jay Cutler played at Vanderbilt. What was I saying?
I don't know. You're in love with Jay Cutler.
Yeah. Hey, if I'm gay, then how come I want to fuck Jay Cutler?
Well, and we just saw a clip of Jay Cutler on Sophia Franklin's podcast. And Sophia Franklin asks, what would a woman have to do to bag you? And he says, be cool and hot.
That's, by the way, a Jay Cutler hallmark is the Dude was the highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
I watch football, and I'm sorry, it's impossible to watch anything now. Everything is on like 8 different services. I'm like, oh, I want to watch a football game. They're like, have you signed up for ESPN Plus? And then you sign up for ESPN Plus, and they're like, oh, actually, we don't have that. You have to get the ESPN Plus, Disney Plus, Hulu bundle, and then you get that. And they're like, actually, this game's only on YouTube TV. And then you get YouTube TV, and it's like, yo, you don't have NFL Plus. And then you sign up for Red Zone, which is every game, but it's not every game. It's only like when they're in the red zone, it only shows that.
I don't even know what the red zone is.
I know. And neither do I, and I'm so confused.
What the frick is the red zone?
It's basically when you're about to score. The red zone is like when you're about to go in the end zone.
That's fascinating. You know, I cheerleaded for like 5 months and still didn't pick that up.
I mean, I played football technically, and
Yeah.
I never picked that up.
That is something we both have in common is we dabbled in the traditional Americana,
In the normcore arts.
in the normcore arts. We both dabbled in the normcore arts.
Yeah.
But ultimately, we're freaking freaks.
Ultimately, we're freaks.
At the end of the day, we're freak quote.
I remember I skipped a track practice one time in high school, and then my coach asked me, the track coach asked me why I wasn't at practice the day before, and I thought I'm gonna go for radical honesty, and I said, "Oh, I honestly just did not feel like it." And he yelled at me in front of everybody. Also, it's a track, so it's circular. So everyone was doing their workouts on the track, and I'm in the center field. He yelled at me in front of everybody.
Dude, something like serious athletic people will never empathize with is saying that you didn't feel like something. Like they don't get that. That's not real to them.
Yeah.
And you know what? As I get older, I'm like, is it real to me? Like as I get older, I am like, no.
You got to do stuff you don't feel
You
like.
gotta do stuff you don't feel like. That's
But also easy to
that's
say
what
that.
life is.
But also, guess what? If you said, Robert, you have to go to a track practice tomorrow, I'd be like, I'm probably not going to go. That is a thing that I'm so happy that like after school, that just stopped being a thing. I'm like just getting yelled at by an adult. I haven't been
Dude,
yelled at in a while.
I mean, it really is crazy that when you enter your kid into like the public school system or even the private school system, what you're actually doing is just giving a bunch of like other adults permission to fucking verbally abuse your child.
I remember one time I was in math class and I almost just said the real name of the teacher. I'm not going to say. I'll just say her social security number. So
Yeah,
there's no
just to
problem.
be safe.
So I was in a 425-874-2875's math class. If you know, you know.
Last 4 digits, 2875.
But anyway, I was in this math class in middle school and the teacher asked a question and I had the answer. I was excited for the answer, but then as I thought I was going to answer it first, but really I answered it second. So I raised my hand and I went, "Oh, it's," and then someone else answered it and I just went, like that. I made like a noise, like oh, rats, I didn't get it. And my math teacher thought that I was making a farting noise and trying to make it seem to the class that she farted. So I was just being like, oh no, I thought I had the answer first, I didn't. She thought I was doing ventriloquism for her ass. And she yelled at me and I got a detention out of that.
She thought you were doing a live whoopee cushion.
She thought I was. She thought I literally was like raised my hand as a mere pretense to make a fart noise for her. And then there's no talking your way out of that because like then you seem so guilty to be like, no, I was not making a fart noise for my math teacher's butt.
But to me, the real tragedy here is that women are so embarrassed to be perceived farting that you would get a detention for that.
Yeah.
And I did just see an AI generated TikTok that I showed you in bed last night about how in medieval times, a woman's fart was a blessing.
Yeah.
And it was said and thought to ward off evil spirits. And women used to not be shamed for farting, but were in fact uplifted by their community and family members.
It's funny how women were shamed for quite literally everything else. But yeah, you can rip a fart. Why not?
Yeah, they were like, fart away.
Yeah.
Nothing else though.
Yeah.
Don't talk or anything.
Don't talk at all. Don't make eye contact.
No.
Speaking of medieval times, as we often do, did you know that Henry VIII had full-time servants and stewards whose entire job was to wipe his butt after he pooped? They were called grooms of stool.
I did not know that about grooms of stool. No.
Yeah.
I knew about lots of other things about Henry VIII.
But that's the thing. Obviously,
Yeah.
everyone knows the other stuff about Henry VIII.
Dude, that's how you get rid of like bad publicity, like grooms of stool, is you just like you behead a bunch of
He probably was
wives.
so embarrassed that he needed grooms of stool to
Yeah.
wipe his butt. He just quickly was just like, I'm gonna go kill my wife. Like probably someone walked in on
Yeah.
him with his grooms of stool
Right.
wiping his butt for him, and he was just like,
He's like,
I'll
but
flip my wife's
look.
head.
Yeah.
And his wife's like, I didn't do anything. And he's kind of like, I know, I'm literally sorry. I'm just so sorry. But another thing about it is the
Yeah.
grooms of stool. All of his grooms of stool, he knighted. He wound up knighting them and giving them like generational wealth and like lands and a keep. He treated his grooms of stool well, and he killed all his wives.
To me, that's a living wage king.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you want to have a groom of stool, but you want to pay them a living wage, I think that's absolutely valid. Like, if I found out right now that Jeff Bezos had people wiping his ass, my first question would be like, but they make more than the Amazon warehouse workers, right?
They'd have to.
They'd have to.
I mean, I bet it would be a really highly paid position.
Jeff Bezos' ass wiper.
Yeah.
I would do it for a couple extra bucks.
How many?
A lot of extra.
It would have to be a lot.
It would need to be a lot. Well, I was famously in a Jeff Bezos Amazon TV pilot.
Congratulations.
And you know what? I'll say it. Why not? I'll say how much I got paid for it. 35 G's. Can I say that?
An ep?
For the episode I was in.
That's pretty damn good.
35 G's. It was seen as not very much, just industry standard.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm like, so I definitely need more than that.
So
because I know what you pay for like something I want to do. So something I don't want to do would be at least 3 times per thing.
What do you mean per thing?
I think like I could do it for $100,000 a wipe.
Okay. Well, so how much would you demand? So if Jeff Bezos takes a shit to wipe his butt, to like finish the wiping process, it would cost $100,000.
Yes.
A one-time deal.
One-time deal.
If Jeff Bezos shits, let's call it 5 times a week.
You think he only shits 5 times a week?
I don't know. Actually, he might shit more because he's on kind of an alpha male diet now.
Yeah. But maybe he's on one of those alpha male diets where you don't shit.
I think all the alpha male diets you shit
a lot
because it's all protein. If you're doing like a protein diet, you're like shitting cubes.
So then he's probably shitting like 3x a day.
3x seems hefty, even for Bezos.
How much are you shitting?
I think I shit 13 a day.
13 a day.
But I'm like really sick.
Yeah. we were worried about you.
Yeah. And let me tell you, I don't have no grooms or stool. This is a peasant complaining about Henry VIII. Hey, I don't have any grooms or stool wiping my
I don't got none of those
ass.
fancy grooms or anything. I've been doing this myself.
And obviously the peasants were like Brooklyn deli owners that like, hey, Henry VIII has grooms or stool.
Did they speak French? Was that their language?
They were in England. He was the king of England.
I really need to do a little research on all that.
I think it's a thing too with like England where they always were conquering France. So it's like technically France. They were the king of France.
Wanted to be French. Like weren't they all adopting like French aesthetics and like
I think so.
fashions and hair wig
and wig
vibe?
Yeah, they're like, I'm thinking about growing out my wig in the French style. I mean, I don't know. The thing about England is it sucks. So no matter how rich or powerful it ever got, they always had to conquer something else because it literally sucks. Not defending colonialism, but here's the deal. If all you had was England, you'd be trying to get more land too.
England is so weird because it is always cloudy there.
It's the worst. And there's no like good terrain.
Or good food to eat.
Yeah, don't come for the English.
Mushy peas.
They're like mushy peas.
Are you freaking joking?
They're like, can I get some fried eel and mush mash? You Americans, That's also how you know, because you'll be like, hey, in England, don't you guys kind of have bad food? And they're like, oh, your classrooms are filled with blood, mate. And I'm like, yeah, school shootings, I get it, but
your food sucks.
Well, like that's what frustrates me about British people and their food is I'm like, look, I as an American will own the fact that like, yeah, we be having school shootings.
Totally.
We need more gun control. I get that. That's us. I own that. But British people won't just be like, mommy's mishmash tastes a little dull.
No.
You would rather be eating barbecue. I know you would. You'd rather be eating soul food. You'd rather be eating the barrel of a gun.
That says a lot about where we are in terms of like lacking nationalism and country pride.
Yeah.
Which I do think America is at a loss for, where I'm like, no, it does seem like we could use a little bit of country pride.
Yeah.
Will I get flamed for that?
If you say we could use more country pride, I think for our food, that's fair. I think you're allowed to say America has the best food.
I think if you live in America, you need to be like, we have the best food.
And you have to say it like that.
And you have to do it like that.
I mean, my thing with American food is really there's 2 different arguments. There's like, do we have the best food a la food that originated in America? Which, by the way, I think we have a compelling case. Soul food, barbecue, kind of Kentucky fried chicken, hamburgers, which again, Hamburg, Germany originated a cut of meat, but the actual hamburger that you think of as the hamburger was originated in America. Anywho, chap, I think the real argument is like, where can you get the best food in the world? And I think in America, you can get in the best. If you were in New York City tonight, you have access to more good food than if you're in London.
Any time of day.
Any time of day.
New York City from midnight to 4 a.m. has better cuisine than England round the freaking clock.
Well,
okay, that was
England is real quick. England is very proud of their. I think it's called a roast. They have a roast where they get all this different food together, roast, and like we have the British roast. I love it. And it's like, you know what? We call that a pile of shit. You piled a bunch of fucking leftovers together. I mean, I don't hate it. I mean, I'm sure it does taste good. I've actually had roasts that are quite good, but that can't be your flagship food. You can't lead with like a mishmash stew.
I feel like we just really roasted the roast.
Yeah. I think Britain's got a lot of other good things. Harry
Such
Potter.
as Harry Potter.
The Grooms of Stool program. That's somewhat amusing.
Yes.
Ricky Gervais pre-2022.
I ride for Ricky.
You don't ride for this version of Ricky.
What version is of, okay, to me, when you are a celebrity or a, on-camera persona, to me, you're immortalized as whatever version I saw of you that I liked. And I don't care what you're doing now because of, dare I say, because of like the camera and the internet.
Yeah.
Time isn't linear anymore. Like, I literally don't care if you had a bad opinion last week, if all I know of you is like some movie you did in 1995. Why do I give a fuck what you said on some like weird podcast last week if, like, again, the only engagement I have with you is the movie I liked from 1995?
I will say what you're saying is very interesting because I think famous people are judged in real human beings' heads by their peak.
They are.
I'm judged by their peak.
Like, not everyone is, a fucking weird, like, celebrity nerd historian.
Yeah.
Where they only can engage with the most recent update of a celebrity. I'm like, I don't need, like, I don't care what Johnny Depp did after being Jack Sparrow. I literally don't.
When
like,
I think Johnny Depp, I think Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
I don't think Modern Swamp Witch.
What's Modern Swamp Witch?
Johnny Depp now?
Oh, is that what?
Because he looks like a swamp witch.
Okay, you're referring to. I thought maybe that was a movie called Modern Swamp Witch.
Dude, new Johnny Depp is so good. Have you seen Modern Swamp Witch?
Dude, it's on Grup Grop.
It's on Grup Grop.
It's on Grup Grop.
The Johnny Depp comeback is complete. He's playing the Swamp Witch on Grump Grop.
But like, yeah, I'm like, to most people, no, I didn't hear about the weird thing that person said one time. I watched the 3 seasons of their TV show from 2003 and I thought it was really funny. That's the context in which I engage with them. Also, here's my thing too. I don't care who you are in real life. That doesn't concern me. You're not in my real life.
Yeah.
I'm not in your real life. Imagine if like someone who made a movie, they didn't want me to watch it because they didn't like my opinion.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'll say. I think that because of the internet and because of camera video technology, however you're captured in the way that a viewer wants to engage with you, the viewer is allowed to just engage with you in that context. They don't have to be hip happening to your most recent podcast transgression.
Sorry, I'm just imagining that sentence written out and I'm trying to count the commas. Due to video technology, whoever you are.
Here's what I'll say about in defense of my sentence construction, which again, I talk in run-ons. I write in run-ons. If you have ever read anything I've written, you're probably like, okay, whoa. But I always think this.
Well,
have you read Naked Lunch by William Burroughs, who was lauded as this great postmodern writer? I'm like, that whole book is a run-on sentence, and he didn't apologize.
Yeah. And you also, I'm sorry, you're telling yourself short. You have a writing credit on Modern Swamp Witch on Grup Grop.
Yes, it's on Grup Grop.
They wanted to really make the Swamp Witch feel modern.
They didn't give us subscriptions as for being writers.
Yeah.
So we can't see it.
Well, to me, it almost feels like an athlete has their run and then they retire. And it's like you telling me like, they're not even that athletic anymore. And it's like, they stopped playing 10 years ago. Like, of course, they're a shell of themselves.
Imagine you're watching, let me just take a jab at this because I don't really know any of the terms, but imagine you're watching a highlight reel.
Wrong. No, you're right.
Imagine you're watching a highlight reel of Michael Jordan and you're like, wow, he's so good at basketball. And then the person you're with goes, he's fat now. He can't do that anymore. It's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Why would I care about that? I'm watching a highlight reel.
Yeah.
Because he can't dunk a basketball anymore, I can't enjoy that he once dunked a basketball.
Yeah.
That's your logic.
You're like, he's a different person. It's like, well, yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense. Looking at my topics. Oh, Love Thy Nader. Speaking of reality TV, there's a billboard for a show called Love Thy Nader, which I guess is just about some sister crew. But I thought that it was about Ralph Nader's daughters. It's not. It has nothing to do with Ralph Nader, Green Party presidential candidate from the 2000s.
I was like, this is kind of weird. They're trying to capitalize on the fame of Green Party presidential candidate Ralph Nader from the 2000s.
And has nothing to do with Ralph Nader. That's all. I just wanted to mention that in case anyone else was confused. Did anyone else think Love Thy Nader was connected to Ralph Nader? He's the only famous Nader I know of.
All right, you want to do Influencer of the Week?
I would love to do Influencer of the Week.
Proceed with Influencer of the Week.
My Influencer of the Week is a girl. She's on the up and up. I just started seeing her videos, but she does videos in the format of this is my daily schedule, basically, where it's like schedule for day drinking. Wake up, 8 a.m., put on clothes, no, wear pajamas with sunglasses. So it's like that's the format of the. And I think she's a recent post grad. I would guess that her family is very wealthy because she made a video recently where she like golf carts to her friend's house because they're like neighbors. Anyway, she's really rich, post grad, does these format of videos. Yeah, it's always interesting to see someone who's like a lot younger than me having such fun, you know?
Post grad?
Post grad.
What was her major?
I'm not sure actually. I actually don't know a lot about her. Maybe I'm like, do I want to do a different influencer of the week?
We know now we know too much about this influencer for her not to be influencer of the week.
I don't know that much about her because she, you know, she keeps it so tight to her format.
Yeah.
She keeps it these schedule videos. What do I know about her? I would guess she lives on the East Coast. Don't know what her major was. She doesn't seem like a STEM girly.
Hey, any girly can seem like a STEM girly.
My guess would be she's a humanities B, like myself.
And myself as well.
Yes.
Dude, I
we're
love the humanities.
People. We love humanities.
By the way, can I say this real quick? All right. I always took the easiest classes in college. I'm technically a double major poli-sci and business. Easiest classes, specifically poli-sci. It's just history classes, which is why it's so funny to me whenever people on TikTok will chime in on current events, but then in an attempt to like legitimize their opinion, they'll lead with, as a history major, and I'm like, look, give me your opinion if you want to give me your opinion, but like, we all know that history is like the easiest thing to major in. You're basically saying like, as someone who was scared to do math in college, here's how I would fix the Middle East. And I'm like, just give us your opinion. Like, being a history major means nothing. They're the easiest B pluses you will ever get in your life.
But I would also argue any college major, any bachelor's is not a credential. That's why it's not a credential. It's like either you are a doctor or you are a little bachelor's piece of shit like us.
I'm a little bachelor pig.
Also, I'm like, I don't even care if you got your bachelor's in microbiology, because if you didn't follow that up with some sort of like advanced science degree, that literally just means like you didn't ever admit to yourself that you wanted to be a poet.
Yeah. Everyone on TikTok is always like, as a political science major, I'm like, oh, so as an idiot? And I was a political science major.
Well, I always say this. I'm like, yeah, I'm a writer. That doesn't mean I write. It just means I don't know how to do math.
Literally.
So much of this is just an absence of knowing how to do math.
My majors, my poli-sci and business majors came about as like, okay, what pathway of easy classes will lead me to a major at the end of this?
And that's why I picked English ultimately.
Yeah. And obviously there's scales, but yeah, English is super easy. I would honestly though argue, and this is maybe the hottest take, a history major, and poli-sci basically it is a history major. There's like 3 credits that are different. A history major is easier than an English major because a history major is pretty much just memorization.
That's
it's like,
true.
Whereas English, in theory, you have to like actually read stuff and actually formulate opinions on it. In history, it's like, know your data, know your 30 bullet points, and then rock out.
That's so true.
Now, granted, I am an idiot who doesn't really keep tuned in to much, but...
Well, we're dilettantes.
Yeah. What's a dilettante?
I've told you this. A dilettante is someone who knows a lot of surface level things about a myriad of topics.
Yeah.
So we are good conversationalists, but ultimately our knowledge of most topics is very surface level.
Here's the thing. We're great conversationalists, but you will notice that any conversation you start with us will wind up being about very Cavallari.
Or just streaming in general. It'll be about Gloop Glop.
It's going to be about Gloop. It's going to be about the very Cavallari reunion on Gloop Glorp.
Yeah. You'll find that you start talking to us about the Bolshevik Revolution.
Yeah. And we're going to wind up talking to you about how Jay Cutler doesn't really care about Uncommon James, but by God, does he have good chemistry with Kristen?
Is the Bolshevik Revolution a thing?
I did. If it's not, it should be. Those Bolsheviks have been taking too much bullshit for too long.